Hello and welcome everyone to the official investiture of Prosecutor Ellie Savit and Chief Assistant Prosecutor Victoria Burton Harris. We are excited to have you all here with us. We just want to take a moment and remind everyone that we are in the midst of a crisis, so please remain 6 feet away from each other. We also have hand sanitizer and bleach wipes available should you need them. We're going to go ahead and get right in. And again, we want to thank all of our viewers for being here with us as well. First, we are going to have a song by, I call her the songstress extraordinaire, Mimi Lansar.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling waves. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has brought us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has taught us. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you. Should I start the next one? Okay. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mimi, again, we want to thank you for those beautiful renditions. Now we are going to have, and we're excited to have with us, a new board member for the Ann Arbor School District. Please put your hands together for Crystal Dupree.
Thank you guys. So, can you hear me? Everything hear me? Good. Okay. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to speak today. So, I just wanted to say a few words and try to make it quick. There are about 2,300 or more so prosecuting office in the United States of America. This past year, criminal justice reform activists across our nation, we focused our efforts on putting progressive prosecutors in office. Prosecutors that see their connection with the community as being central and synergetic. Here in Washtenaw, we are fortunate enough to have Ellie Savit, and we are fortunate enough to have Victoria Burton Harris swearing in to turn the page on criminal injustice here in Washtenaw County. Thanks to our new prosecutors, innovative and community-focused minds, across 12 different working groups, around 170 voices from this community helped shape our current prosecutor's office, from juvenile justice to immigration to sex work and sexual assault and domestic violence. It's imperative to recognize that the domestic violence working group was not just academics and researchers. We are survivors, and we are survivors that are joined by so many of our allies of different races, ethnicities, and economic statuses. Together, we discussed, we deliberated, and we decided. Now, we didn't always agree, but we all agreed we were there to get things done. The best part about this group is the band is staying together, meaning while most of the groups were actually transitional, this particular group will actually be staying on. We've recruited the University of Michigan Program Evaluation Group, and together this office is preparing to learn about the uniqueness and survivorship for Black women and also our police engagement. This office is taking an evidence-based and data-driven approach to understand the experiences of Black women and to improve their performance moving forward. So let me echo the sentiments of a nation awakening. Protect Black women. There is no such thing as being pro-Black without being pro the Black woman. The constant assault on Black womanhood makes it so our sons and daughters are seen as adults when they are children, more likely to be interrogated by police in school, more likely to be seen as a threat or a problem, less likely to be given the benefit of the doubt, and less likely to be believed when reporting harassment at school. I just read that Michigan locks up more kids for non-criminal offenses, so that's like truancy and things like that, than all but 3 states in our nation. So we have to fill every local office with people who see and value our humanity. And I feel like with our prosecutor's office, we have done just that. So congratulations, and thank y'all for doing this work.
Thank you, Crystal. We are excited to have with us a community activist, and he is the host of the Alex Thomas Show. Please put your hands together for Alex Thomas.
Thank you, Trisha. Congratulations, Eli. Ellie Savit is real. You know, I read an article from a reporter asked me, what did I feel or what did I think when I first met Ellie? I said I was elated. And I liked it so much when I read that, it made me want to look up the word. So, you know, it's good to know what you say. So I looked up elated. Joy filled with joyful spirited, filled with high spirited, joyful delight. This mask here. Filled with high spirited, joyful delight. Like that. Liked it so much I wanted to look up the etymology. Comes out of the Latin word meaning to elate, raise up. If you care about equity in Washtenaw County, you need to raise up. You need to raise up at the ballot box, at these township and city council meetings. Understand how equity plays out. You'll get upset, but you'll get elated because we got Ellie Savit on the job. Ellie Savit's going to be our Washtenaw County prosecutor. I was elated when I met him because he knew that Ypsi Township was the second largest municipality with 58,000. And so many of these disparities in the criminal justice system play out in Ypsi, Ypsi City, Ypsi Township, Superior Township. Shout out MacArthur Boulevard, Sycamore Meadows, West Willow, Sugarbrook, Pittsfield Township. We have Spice Tree, Glencoe Hills, all these vulnerable communities. If you're going to talk about homelessness, you're going to talk about domestic violence, you're going to talk about children incarcerated. If you're going to talk about equity, you have to know where it plays out. Ellie Savit knew, and that's why I jumped on and am elated. And anybody that cares about equity should be filled with high-spirited delight with our new prosecutor. Congratulations and thank you.
Wonderful and fitting words, Alex. Thank you so much. We are definitely excited to have Shruti Lakshwanaman, who is coming to the mic. She was Ellie's political director and very hands-on with the transition teams. Please welcome Shruti to the mic.
Thank you, Trisha. Hi, everyone.
So my name is Trudy Lakshmanan. I've had the pleasure of working with Ellie for the past year now. I actually started as an intern on his campaign. I joined his staff over the summer, and since August, I've had the pleasure of serving as his transition manager. I consider myself very blessed to work for Ellie and Victoria. They are truly two of the best people I know. Not only are they incredibly smart, but they are people prosecutors. And they are true visionaries. I first heard Ellie speak at an organization I was a part of on campus, and I was blown away by his platform, which is what actually inspired me to intern for him. Every day since then, I've continued to be blown away by how detailed, expansive, and creative their vision for justice is. They are true people's prosecutors. They work so hard, and I would know because I manage their schedules, tirelessly to meet with anyone and everyone who wants to share their stories and experiences with them. They not only empathize with them, but they actively work to find solutions with them. And I think that our transition has been a great example of this. I'm so proud of the work we have been doing since August, with 12 subcommittees and over 170 subject matter experts, activists, and impacted community members working together to create change in the new office. I just wanted to close by thanking everyone who's here today, as well as everyone who's watching in on the live stream. Everything we have done, we couldn't have done without your support for so many reasons, and I hope you'll all join us at 2:30 for the virtual reception. And lastly, to Ellie and Victoria, thank you so much for having me here today and for all the opportunities you guys have given me. I'm so proud that you guys will both be leading the charge here in Washtenaw for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trudy, for your moving words. We are headed to the most important part of why we are here today. So we're excited to have with us Chief Justice Bridget McCormick. Please, let's show her some love as she comes to the mic.
I think I'm just doing the oath, right? Yes. Okay. I was like, because I always have a speech, as you know, but no, I'm just kidding. Ellie, stand up. Let me do you first, and then we'll do. Does that work? Okay. Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of this state.
and the Constitution of this state,
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of County Prosecutor
of the office of County Prosecutor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Let's get you an assistant. Yes. A chief assistant, I should say. Will you please raise your right hand, Victoria? I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney
the duties of the office of Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's it.
This past year, we have shared many struggles together. We've suffered loss together, immeasurable loss. We've cried together. We've marched together. We broke down barriers together. We elected some progressive prosecutors who vowed to change our criminal legal system and make it more just and fair for all people. We ushered in a new vision for rebuilding this system, a system that's rooted in slavery, racism, and capitalism. A system that feasts on poor people, people of color, people plagued with mental health illness, and folks battling with substance abuse. Many seek to reform this system, but our administration has a bigger vision and a bolder plan. Our administration is co-creating, alongside the community, a justice system that adequately addresses the root causes of crime: poverty, job and housing instability, unaddressed trauma, lack of supportive services, and untreated mental health illness. Our administration isn't simply seeking to reform a broken system, for we know that this system is not broken. It works exactly as it was designed to do. Prosecutors are the gatekeepers to this system, and we are the most powerful player in it. We can effectively disrupt the intentional, continued attack on vulnerable, marginalized people by being intentional with our power, a power that can impact lives of families for generations to come. This summer, I ran a progressive prosecutor campaign alongside Ellie on a similar platform. I wanted to use the power of the prosecutor's office for good, working to keep people out of the justice system and remain in the community where they had a better chance of addressing the reasons why they came into the system to begin with. I wanted to divest from jails and prisons and invest in people. I wanted to reform our cash bail system. I wanted to get within this system and change it from the inside, because that's really what this work is about. Becoming a part of the system so that we can transform it and make it work for all people, including people living in poverty, people born in the skin that I'm in, our babies, people who can't fight for themselves and have had their voices stomped out. Ellie and I have spent the last year plus sitting with people across our communities and learning what they need and want. People want restorative justice. They want to get to the reason behind why people harmed them so that they can eliminate that harm and it doesn't happen to them again. Crime survivors want more effective rehabilitation for the person who's harmed them, not simply temporary solutions like jails and prisons, which actually contribute to people committing more crimes. Folks in our communities want Black and brown people to stop being disproportionately represented in our justice system. They want prosecutors to not overcharge people, only to later use excessive charges as an unfair plea bargaining tool. They want a true justice system, one that treats all folks the same, no matter the color of their skin, the depth of their pocket, or the color of their uniform. They want a justice system that holds people accountable for the harm they cause, but also provides the tools and resources for people to be contributing members of society. Folks want safer communities. They want intact communities. They want thriving communities. Our administration is keenly aware that cash bail is a tool used to perpetuate mass incarceration in this country, and it over-criminalizes our poor. I traveled the state and attended many meetings with the Michigan Jails Task Force over 6 months. Pew Charitable Trust presented research findings about who we're jailing and why. 87% of people who didn't pay any money to get out of jail, they did not disappear. They reappeared time after time for their court appearances. 89% did not reoffend. So this idea that there's a correlation between cash bail and community safety, it's false. There is none. There is no legitimate reason to keep people locked away from their families, their jobs, their lives when they pose no danger. The average jail stay of a couple of days most often has devastating impacts on entire families, not just the accused person. I, as a defense attorney, have had former clients unable to afford cash bail for even the simplest of offenses. They languish in the county jail and they have their lives permanently derailed. One of them, I can recall, he lost his job while he was in jail. His wife then had to quit her job because she couldn't afford child care for their 3 children on her income alone. When my client finally returned home, he returned to a home that once had 2 incomes and now had none, and 3 children to feed. He lost his home, his children had to find a new school, and then his charges were simply later dismissed. We have historically treated people presumed innocent, as guilty right from the outset. We jail them if they're too poor to buy their freedom and allow them to lose everything as they await trial. Oftentimes, they sit for months just to have their cases dismissed. This is morally reprehensible, and our administration will not stand for it. Our office will not seek cash bail in any case, instead seeking non-monetary bond conditions that adequately ensure public safety, such as drug and alcohol testing, GPS tethers, home confinement, and in the most serious of cases, pretrial incarceration. Now, our plan is not to allow people who have harmed our communities and pose a continuing serious threat out of jail. No. What we are instead promising is that wealth won't be factored into the equation. This will ensure community safety from even people who pose harm yet have the money to buy their way out and continue harming us. Our no cash bail policy is just a drop in the bucket, folks. The real fight is sparing the lives of folks before we bring them into the criminal system and bringing our brothers and sisters home who were wrongfully convicted and imprisoned despite their innocence. Our office will seek to divert more people out of the criminal justice system and into the hands of community partners who are equipped to provide the much-needed resources to address the root causes of crime. We seek to invest in people, not jails and prisons. We seek to work with community agencies and partner with them prior to authorizing criminal charges so that we can build out the first ever pre-charge restorative justice program in the state. We will also stand up a conviction integrity unit, expungement unit, so that we can redress the wrongs of the failed war on drugs and wrongful prosecution. Folks, we have an opportunity to reshape and redefine our society. We have an opportunity to change our criminal legal system. We have a prosecutor who cares, one who has extensive experience fighting for our children and working to slow the school-to-prison pipeline. We have a prosecutor who cares about healing and supporting people through trauma in an effort to reduce recidivism and restore both crime survivors and those who've caused the harm. We have a prosecutor who envisions justice that goes beyond a prison cell. A prosecutor who has a plan for alternate justice, more effective solutions to violence and crime. In my work, my previous work as a defense attorney, I've been blessed to get close to people who have been harmed by this system. I have held the hands and hugged the necks and wiped the tears at times of those closest to the problem, yet the furthest from the solutions. Ellie and I are coming in as leaders who have a deep capacity for empathy. We are fighting for people to be recognized as human beings and not forever defined by a moment in time. For we know that we are not defined by the worst thing that we've ever done. We have value. We all have value. Ellie and I believe in redemption and second chances. We believe in the power of one another to thrive when given fair opportunities and resources. Justice is so precious because it is not guaranteed. We must work for it. We have to fight for it. We are ready to peel back the layers and fight alongside this community to address the underlying reasons that people commit crimes and then seek to eliminate them. This pandemic has taught us many things. One of them is that we are all connected and we depend on one another for survival. All we have is ourselves, our communities, our will to be better, to be righteous. We have the will to fight, to correct the wrongs of our past, to create a more equitable future. We will one day answer to our children and our grandchildren when they ask what we did, how we responded to this moment of social and racial unrest amid a pandemic. We will have to answer and explain the role that we played in the largest social movement in American history, the movement for Black lives. You all ushered in a forward-thinking justice warrior, one who will pursue justice, not convictions. You used your voice, your vote, your power to start chipping away at the criminal injustice system and demanding a new system, a better system, a more equitable and just system. You told us what you wanted, and we are going to deliver because we are in this together and we've all we got.
This work is urgent. We have lost too many, and we have no time to waste. All we have is each other. For too long, generations of families living on the margins have suffered because of the way our parasitic criminal system has operated. We must answer for the years of violence and ineffective punishment that has been our criminal system by first acknowledging that it has failed. It has been cruel. It has destroyed families. And second, we must take action. We are certainly on the right path, but this monumental change in prosecution, this historic moment, it's only the beginning. This work, the people that we serve, are at the center of everything that we do. Every policy we issue, every charging decision and bond argument that we make. Over the last year, Ellie and I promised communities that we would be transparent and accountable to the people that we serve. We have begun to uphold those promises with the first release of several bold and smart policies aimed at ending mass incarceration, rooting out inequities in our system, discontinuing business as usual, and investing in people and not simply punishment. We want to see our communities grow and flourish. We want to use our power to help guide people to the resources they so desperately need to, again, not just survive, but to thrive. Today is a new day, folks. A new year, new leadership. Ellie and I are dedicated to using our power, our voice, our passion, our resources, our network of stakeholders and community partners to enhance the lives of folks suffering, stuck in what has been a cyclical, monstrous system. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can have a criminal legal system that is truly just, fair treatment for all people, compassionate pursuit of justice, a system that builds people up instead of tearing them down, a system that truly keeps us safe by addressing the needs of our communities, our people, a system that recognizes humanity in each and every one of us and the potential for us to be more, to be better, because that's what we all deserve: mercy, compassion, justice, and equal treatment under the law. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you, Victoria. And I don't know if I'm ever going to set up an event like this again where I follow you. Washtenaw County, I'm standing here humbled by the trust that you've placed in me, grateful for the opportunity to serve, and committed to my core to building a justice system that works for everyone. I want to start by thanking a lot of people. I want to thank my parents, who are here standing in the cold on a law quad, who have always loved and supported me. I want to thank the Chief Justice for delivering the oath. She is a model jurist, a statewide treasure. So grateful that you did us the honor of administering our oath today. I obviously want to thank my incredible new official Chief Assistant, Victoria Burton-Harris. I cannot think of a better partner in this work, Victoria, and I'm looking forward to the amazing things we are going to do together. I want to thank the many people that got us to this point. To the army of high school and college and graduate student interns that poured their hearts and soul into the campaign this summer, thank you. To the volunteers that were motivated by our vision for justice and made over 350,000 phone calls to voters across Washtenaw County, thank you. I got to shout out some of my core campaign team, many of whom are with us today. Charlie Widmeyer was the best campaign manager in the business. Ed Dance. Ed came up at a march the week after I announced. He said, I want to intern for you. He rose to the ranks and became our deputy campaign manager. He was our outreach director on the transition. He's going places. Thank you, Ed. Ruby Schneider, who is our finance director, did basically everything. She forced me to raise money, but she also brought light to every single situation, kept me sane, kept the trains running on time. Thank you, Ruby. Grace Stephen. Grace was the very first person on my campaign before I even announced. I met Grace when she was an 18-year-old senior at Pioneer High School, my alma mater, by the way, so go Pioneers. And she was interested in criminal justice reform, so we had coffee, and she said, I want to intern for your campaign. I said, well, the campaign hasn't started yet. I haven't even declared, Grace, but you're on board. You're employee 0. And she stuck with us through the campaign. I'm so thrilled. It started in that coffee shop. You're the first one on board. Thank you, Grace. She's here today. And you all heard Shruti. Shruti started as an intern, became our political director, and has now been our transition manager, managing this incredible work that we've been doing for the transition. She helps me sleep at night because I know Shruti's on it. Thank you, Shruti. And I will just mention something. Everybody that I just mentioned, they're under 24, they're 4 years old, or maybe one of them is 24 years old. But let's be real about this. This new generation is coming. They're committed. They're passionate. They're going to change the future. And anybody that sleeps on the younger generation does so at their peril. They give me hope, and I'm so thrilled to have been working with you, and I'm looking forward to the day that I'm knocking doors for all of you. I want to thank our Washtenaw County partners, the judges, the public defender, the sheriff, county commissioners, who have all extended a hand in partnership to work together to build the justice system that we deserve. We are going to make big changes in Washtenaw County, but I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to do so in partnership. We are going to do great things together. I want to thank the employees of the prosecutor's office, the public servants there. After we won our election in August, we were welcomed with open arms. I tremendously appreciate the warm welcome that you've given both me and Victoria. Looking forward to working together with all of you. But most of all, I want to thank this incredible community, my home. And this is about the community. Because this movement, this campaign, what brings us here today, this didn't start in the halls of power or in the traditional legal establishment. It started with activists around kitchen tables and in living rooms and in conference rooms. Many of them are here today. Trichet's our MC. We had Alex Thomas, who was one of the first people I met. Nate Frazier, who I know is live streaming this. This is about the movement that we built. And this movement took hold and it spread across Washtenaw County, and I'm so grateful that the voters of Washtenaw County saw fit to opt for our vision of justice that we built together in August and again in November. But it didn't stop there. Since we won in August, we've been spending our time doing the hard work of transitioning into the prosecutor's office. As previous speakers have mentioned, we've had a dozen working groups with over 170 community members, subject matter experts, folks that represent every perspective imaginable in our criminal legal system and in our community. We have had substance use professionals, mental health professionals, community activists, law enforcement, survivors activists, criminal defense lawyers, prosecutors, faith leaders, neighborhood leaders, educators, all at the table and all talking and working towards building a better justice system for all of us. That is because of this wonderful community. I'm grateful for that. And we are going to continue working together in partnership as we move forward in this new prosecutor's office. And that spirit sort of brings us to why we're standing here today, out in the cold, on the University of Michigan Law Quad. Didn't just do this here because it's a great scenic background, though it is that. Didn't just do this because go blue. go blue. This place, this law school, as an initial matter, holds a special place for me because it is my alma mater. It is where I started my legal journey. And it is also where I saw, from the time I was a law student, from the lawyer's perspective, the many injustices that our criminal legal system has perpetuated for far too long. When I was here at this law school, I worked in the juvenile justice clinic, the student attorney, and we represented a client, a 16-year-old high school student who is facing a lifetime of consequences, criminal sanctions that would follow him around for the rest of his life for effectively engaging in horseplay in the hallway when he was a freshman. I went and I taught and I volunteered at the Juvenile Detention Center. And I had been a public school teacher before I came to law school. And I saw the kids there. They were as bright, they were as inquisitive, they were as deserving of a future as the 8th graders that I taught in my public school classroom. You can rest assured that these lessons, these early lessons, have stayed with me. And in the coming weeks, we are going to be releasing policies and making our first steps towards once and for all ending the criminalization of childhood. When young people make mistakes, it should be an opportunity to teach. It should be an opportunity to help them grow. It should be an opportunity to help them get back on the right track. We know this intuitively because it's the right thing to do. But it's also supported by data and by science and by observation about what works. Adolescent brains, young brains, are still developing. They do not respond well to punishment. The data shows that a punishment-oriented approach for young people actually makes it more likely that they will commit future crimes. We cannot continue to ignore that. It is not just, it is not right, and it does not, in the long run, make our community safer, and we won't. That last focus on data and science and evidence about what works leads me to a second reason why we're here. Because for far too long, our criminal legal system has moved forward and done things the way that they have always been done simply because it is the way things have always been done. Our criminal legal system has largely been impervious to data, to evidence, to research about what actually works and what will keep us safer in the long term. The statistics regarding our American criminal justice system are in many ways as familiar as they are shocking. The United States of America incarcerates more people per capita than any country on the planet. Our system is rife with racial and socioeconomic inequities. A black person in the United States of America is 6 times as likely to go to prison as a white person. And there is voluminous data out there that what we are doing does not keep us safer and does not work. Treating substance use, mental health issues, as though they are criminal matters, as though they are deserving of punishment, rather than a treatment-oriented approach, does not work, has filled our jails and prisons, and has led many people further down the path they were on, rather than nudging them onto the right path. We know this because the data shows it. And let me be clear about this. This is a tragedy. Countless lives have been ruined and lost because of our criminal legal system's failure to have introspection, failure to focus on what works, failure to innovate, failure to partner with those that can move us in a new direction. In Washtenaw County, this tragedy is also deeply ironic because we're standing here on the steps of one of the nation's preeminent law schools, at one of the nation's preeminent research institutions. And right here, the University of Michigan, for years, scholars and researchers and practitioners have been accumulating a mountain of evidence that our criminal legal system is not functioning well, that it is perpetuating inequities, that it is perpetuating injustice, and that things need to change. Yet in Washtenaw County, just 6 blocks or so away from here, our criminal legal system has long continued on that same path, impervious to that data. That ends now. We know, simply by setting foot in a courtroom or doing even a surface level analysis of the numbers, that we have tremendous racial inequity in our justice system here in Washtenaw County. And for that reason, one of my major campaign promises was that we were going to partner with independent, third-party evaluators, not tied to the prosecutor's office, not tied to the justice system, who are going to come in, look at our files, which we were going to open to them, and identify each and every point in the justice system where we are seeing people being treated differently because of their race. And once we identified that disparate treatment, my promise was that we will take action to eliminate it. I'm proud to stand here today and say that next week, we will be announcing an exciting partnership that is going to do just that. We are going to be partnering with world-class, third-party, independent researchers who, as promised, are going to come into the prosecutor's office, have complete access to our files, and identify every point in the system, from charging to plea bargaining negotiation to sentencing, that white people and black people are treated differently in Washtenaw County. We will identify the disparities, and we will eliminate them. But it's not only that. We are going to be transparent about this. We are going to be developing metrics so the community can track what our justice system is doing, what the prosecutor's office is doing, whether, in fact, what we are doing tracks community values and justice. All of this is going to be transparent, and by the way, all of it is going to be funded through money that is generously donated by philanthropy. It will not cost taxpayers a dime. But the benefit will be tremendous. At long last, Washtenaw County residents will know what their prosecutor's office is doing. And at long last, we will look squarely in the eye the searing legacy of racial inequity in our justice system. But while I'm looking forward to the study, while I'm looking forward to digging in and identifying each and every point of differential treatment in the justice system, we are not waiting for the result of a study to move forward with policies and partnerships that we know need to happen. I pledged that on my first day in office, I would rescind all of the zero-tolerance policies that prevent prosecutors from identifying the root cause of what's bringing somebody into the justice system, from crafting a rehabilitative solution that can ultimately help people, that will protect public safety in the long term. Yesterday, I signed my first policy directive, which did just that. The zero-tolerance policies that this prosecutor's office has maintained are no longer. Going forward, we will address every case according to its individualized facts. We will treat every defendant, every survivor, every witness, every family that comes through our justice system with the dignity and the respect and the focus on restoration that they deserve. One-size-fits-all justice is not justice at all. And one-size-fits-all justice will no longer be dispensed by your prosecutor's office. But it's not just that. Victoria alluded to this, but next week, we are going to release a policy which eliminates the use of cash bail by the prosecutor's office. We know that wealth-based detention is unjust, is inequitable, and we know from experiences of other communities that we don't need it to keep our community safe. We will no longer seek to detain people based on the amount of money in their bank account. Everything that we do will be based on an individualized assessment of what is needed for public safety and what is needed for rehabilitation. But that's not going to be all. What we know is that the war on drugs has been an abject failure, and that treating substance use as a criminal matter has made things worse. Prohibitionist policies do not work. So in the coming weeks, you can look forward to new policies that we're going to continue to develop around substance use, around diverting people into treatment, about not treating what is fundamentally a health issue as a criminal matter. Trust me when I say, all of this is only scratching the surface. We have a dozen policies that we are ready to unveil. They were created in partnership with our incredible working groups. We are ready in the month of January to fundamentally change the way that we do justice in Washtenaw County. Many of you know that I had the tremendous opportunity early in my legal career to work for my hero, the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And since her death, since I've been preparing to take office, I've been thinking hard about her legacy, about how we can continue that here in Washtenaw County and here in the prosecutor's office. I've thought a lot about how Justice Ginsburg kept the individual human beings whose lives were going to be impacted by a legal ruling at the center of her mind in every case. I've thought about her deep appreciation for the law as a forceful tool, one that could reinforce inequities, one that could impose harm, one that could sanction, one that could punish, or one that in the right hands, hands like hers, could move the ball forward towards equity, fairness, and justice. And my mind has kept going back to the print that Justice Ginsburg prominently displayed outside of her chambers. It was a print with a quote from Deuteronomy, from the Hebrew Bible, which said, "Justice, justice shall you pursue." If anything encapsulated her life, it was that mantra. She pursued justice. She worked every day of her career to bring justice to greater fruition. But as it happens, that admonition is not just from the book of Deuteronomy. It also happens to be almost exactly what the United States Supreme Court has said about prosecutors. In the words of the Supreme Court, over and over again, a prosecutor's role, quote, is not that they shall win, but that justice shall be done. Too frequently, that admonition has gone unheeded. Not any longer. No more. I cannot promise you perfection. I cannot promise you we will not make mistakes. What I can promise you is that we will pursue justice. What I can promise you is that we will pursue equity. What I can promise you is that we will pursue rehabilitation and restoration and solutions that in the long term keep our community healthier and safer. And what I can promise you, Washtenaw County, is that as we've been working together, we will continue to do this together. This is work that will be done in partnership. Justice, justice shall we pursue. Thank you again, Washtenaw County. I hope everybody watching can join us for the virtual reception at 2:30, and then I'm ready to get to work because there is so much work to do. Thank you.
Thank you again to everyone in our viewing audience. We are so excited about what is to come in Washtenaw County. And again, thank you to Prosecutor Savit and to our Chief Assistant Prosecutor Victoria Burton Harris. We thank you all again and have a wonderful day.